Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Final Fantasy Reactions video, and this one's going to be very looking forward to this review. I'm sure all of you guys were as well. So here we are. The 2B first. Her STMR is pretty good for herself, but considering we have the Dark Vision Katana now, it might not be as necessary for anyone else to have this on just for herself. Unfortunately, her team art, I'm pretty sure they did this on purpose, but her team reward is quite good, so you'd have to equip her team art if you want to equip the Dark Vision Katana. We'll have to see. Infinite turns, which is always really great, but we kind of knew that from the preview. Both sides, they have 300% TDH, so really you'd only need A2's STMR. It's kind of funny that actually having A2's STMR and TMR would be, I think, is the most best in slot for her. It's kind of funny. 20% LB damage, 100% all killers, and you get an extra 150% human and machine killer, 150% light amp for those 2 turns. In the base form, she has a light cooldown, light amp cooldown, light imbue cooldown, and lightning imbue cooldown, and she'll be able to remove imbues for putting those on. So if a boss imbues you, you can remove them with those cooldowns. 40% attack buff on a cooldown. She has a tag chain ability, which is pretty neat. Her LB is a tag chain, 35% katana imperil, which is decent. Extreme Nova frames, physical damage 150 times, and 200 times max morale, and 250 times at, and then 325 times at max morale. So it's gonna hit pretty hard. And max morale, so you're gonna be able to do quite a bit of damage there. And then in the Brave Shift form, 250% human and machine killer buff for herself, and she does 150% for everybody else. This is very similar to Chizuru's buff. Able to fill morale gauge, which is good. 4 evasion stacks for all allies on a cooldown. I know this is gonna be useful at some point. Always looking. Oh, is this person have Mirage? This person have Mirage? Oh, this person has Mirage. Let's use it. So, it will be useful. That's why I added it. And her LB has 25% several weapon imperils, which is decent, but it's only 25%. But I guess it's something. And 250% LB damage buff, physical damage 100 times at 200 times max, and then an additional 200 times, 300 times max morale scaled. And then it's a weird 1 hit, 26 hits, and 1 hit LB. I'm not really sure why it's only 29 hits. I'm not really sure why it's 29 hits. You might still be able to chain with. You might still be able to hit Eon frames, but then like the last chain's not gonna hit unless for some reason this hit count is not correct. I'm not really sure why it's 29 hits. It might be 30. I'm not sure. And the most important thing is that she gets an 85 times mod buff for her base LB, which is very important. Sadly, it's only 3 turns, so you have to really hustle. Once you use her Brave Shift LB, you gotta get right into the base form to get advantage of the 85 times mod buff. Because remember, guys, it's 2 hits, so both of those modifiers are getting 85 times. For example, 150 times with the 85 times boost on top, or 200 times if you're at max morale, 200 times, so now it's 285 times, and then an additional, math is hard early in the morning, so 325 times at max morale plus 85 times. So it's very important to get that going, plus this tag chain, so you could weave that in to other things like finishers and things. Alright, to the cons. Like we just mentioned, her only LB mod buff is on her Brave Shift LB, and it only lasts for 3 turns. So you gotta hustle. You gotta hustle for those 2 to 3 turns, depending on what it counts for. You need EX2 for a small mod buff if A2 is on the team. It's like so annoying because like it's so small, but it's actually would help if you did have it at the same time. So it's kind of like in the middle. Like it's not too small, but it's so small. But it's so annoying because you kind of need her on the team, so. And she's pretty much exclusively good in Clash of Wills, unlike other units, because her LBs are basically tied to morale and basically everything else too. So, I know some of you guys like units that are good in Clash Wills and out of Clash Wills, but this is not going to be one of them. Because their damage is not going to be as high. Might still be okay, but obviously she's really good in Clash of Wills, like top tier damage dealer. When you use her Brave Shift LB and then you swap to the base LB, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. Like it's kind of insane that it's a tag chain too. Kind of insane. So with that being said, well, all those things being said, all those benefits and decreases in score, what do we get to with that Lapis removed? We need a lot of that Lapis. 9 out of 10 for 2B. I think it's kind of great that she has all these things, the evasion stacks, and able to fill morale in her Brave Shift form, which is going to be very helpful. And a lot of other things, including lots of damage. So if you're facing a human or machine enemy, and you have that 250% buff, and then you have the 150% amp, somehow you're able to weave that all in, maneuver that in. For example, if you wanted a huge burst turn, you could swap to her Brave Shift form, use the 250% killer buff, then use her Brave Shift LB on the next turn, and then shift back over, use that 150% amp, and then use her base LB for insane damage. Because you're getting the 250% killer, getting the 150% amp, you're getting the mod buff, and then you're doing the huge amount of damage. So I think that's her best rotation. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's good. Anyways, 9 out of 10 for 2B, but we still have one other. Oops, we still have one other person. So let's go ahead and check her out. Her STR is obviously going to be very good on 2B, like I mentioned. Her TMR is also going to be very good because it gives her a 500 flat attack, among some other things. So, hope you can get both of them. Just even if you can only get one A2, at least Moogle her for both her TMR and STMR for 2B. She can fill the morale gauge, which is good. She has 30% Great Sword Pearl on a normal ability. There's no cooldown or anything. That's quite nice. Honestly, they kind of had to make her pretty like overpowered because not overpowered, but like they had to make her early enticing because she's an SLB. So she has a lot of enticing abilities. So I'm just gonna throw that out there right away. She has a wind and also light imbue on a cooldown, and the same thing where she can remove imbues to put these on. 150% light amp. Also, she has 125 times mod buff for her Hateful Blade, which is the most important ability that she has. She can cure and resist stat breaks for max turns, basically, but only has one use. So basically, if she doesn't die, she can't be stat broken, which is quite good. The Hateful Blade, here it is. She will have 400% attack buff with the Berserk for one turn, 150% Machine Killer, and physical damage 700 times at 950 times at max morale, and an additional 1,575 times at max morale. Plus, there's some other smaller mod buffs to put this up there, including I think there's the EX2 passive, I believe, or something. And she has 100% all killers. She gets a little cucked on the extra killers, unlike 2B for some reason. She only gets an additional machine and 50% machine and beast killer. I'm not really sure why there's not more, but okay. 300% TDH, 500% cap, and she also gets cucked a little bit on that LB damage. She only has 100% LB damage, so it's a little lacking there, but okay. You'll find out why that doesn't matter as much. I mean, it still would be nice to have more, but her LB is really strange in a strange way. It's not tied to morale, surprisingly, though. 30 hits, 250% attack buff on a regular LB, 250 times physical damage, and then for some, I don't know what this is, because this has never been an effect in any other unit. It adds a red glow to caster for 5 turns. It's not really clear what that is or does. This video is being recorded, I think during maintenance still, so I can't check in game, and I don't know what that means. So maybe I'll like find out in game and put it in the comment section down below later, but not really sure what that means. I'm not sure. Anyways, the SLB 400% attack, which was quite nice. This is not a Berserk. She has a 400% attack buff. Here's the most important thing: 100 times mod buff for her abilities, including Hateful Blade, I believe. 300 times physical damage, 30 hits. Obviously, this damage is not going to be that big. It's obviously not going to be that huge. And once again, you add a red glow to cast her for 5 turns, whatever that means. So she has no mod buffs for her LB, so it's very clear that Hateful Blade is going to be her main damage source. And obviously, if you at max morale, or at least halfway there, with the 100 times mod buff, with the 100, but how much is it? 125 times mod buff for Hateful Blade as well. You're going to be probably going to be doing a lot of damage, because remember guys, it's also 2 separate damage sources, so you're actually getting modifiers for both of them equally, just like 2B was. And like I said, her LB and SLB are clearly not as important as Hateful Blade. Unfortunately, it's on a cooldown, so that is what it is. You need EX2 for a small mod buff if a 2B is on the team. And once again, it's small, but it would be helpful. So, and she's pretty much exclusive to Clash of Wills because her abilities are tied to morale. But her LB and SB are not tied to morale, but they're at the same time they're not really that strong. They're just okay. They're average, and you need EX2 for a constant Mirage buff. And I saw that she has 50% magic evasion. For new players, by the way, don't get too excited. Saying, oh wow, she's already halfway to 100% magic morale, magic evasion. Magic evasion is one of the most useless mechanics in this game, by far. I don't think anyone can dispute that. Magic evasion only evades actual magic attacks, and bosses typically don't use those. They have typically ability magic, which you will not be able to evade, and you can't stack magic evasion at all. You literally can't stack it with anything until they change it, and I'm pretty sure they will never change it, because then you'll have a lot of people 100% magic evasion in arena or something stupid. I don't know if that would even be good, but it'd be funny to see. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and remove the Lapis here. She's getting 8.5. Heavily reliance on a cooldown for her main damage source. Her LB and SLB not really being that strong, and not really sure what this added red glow effect is, but I'm not sure if it's going to be that big of a deal. Even if it was good, it might not even be that big of a deal. It might be though. I may be wrong on this. This might be another horrible take by Deus here on A2. But her Teamer and S-Teamer are very good for 2B, of course. So even if you only pull one of her, it's okay. But with that being said, there's not much else to say about A2. She's an SLB unit with damage, and she's not nearly as supporty as 2B was, where she has Mirage stacks and she has killer buffs for everybody and things like that. She doesn't really do that. A2 is very much a selfless damage dealer. So if you like that, you might want to go for her. If you don't like that, okay. Well, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys very much for watching. Appreciate you. This video had to be long, but it had to be. Someone saw that. I'd actually, unironically, I didn't mean to make that pun, but no, I made the pun, for real. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Appreciate you. See you in the next video. Peace.